Hello, everyone. Glad to see you back here at Silver Tears Tarot. And of course, a warm welcome to anyone who is joining us for the first time. Today, we're doing a pick-a-pile. And this one's over your soulmate situation, but we're looking at who is coming your direction. It's a question that I've gotten lately quite a bit. And so, of course, we're going to leave the door open to learn not just who, but what other energy is coming your way too. Maybe even see into a couple of the lessons around it, and for sure get you some advice about how to be ready for it all. Of course, you know, these are general readings, so they may not resonate with everybody, but you get to pick a pile, so that always helps you pick the best reading for you. You can watch more than one if you feel drawn to more than one. And if you enjoy the videos and feel like they resonate, please do like and share and subscribe. And that way we'll be able to stick together. So it's time to get started picking out your pile. I have picked out a few crystal pointers for you so you can see. Pile 1 has this amethyst, pile 2 has fluorite, and pile 3 has a clear quartz pointer. So remember, don't overthink it. Just let yourself drift toward one of the piles, breathe. As I was saying, you can always watch more than one if you feel drawn to do so. And you can pause the video if you have to. So if you chose pile 1, it'll be right up. And for pile 2 or 3, you can get the linked timestamps down below. So pick your pile and let's get started. And so starting off with pile 1, that is the pile with the amethyst pointer. And I'm going to be reading for you with the Uncommon Tarot, and then I will clarify with the Marchetti Tarot. So again, we're looking at who's coming for you, and then we're also going to see what is coming in the energy for you as well. So let's start by getting the main idea. So this is going to be the idea that the reading is wrapped around. Is that a single card? Yeah, Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups. You almost could not ask for a better card to wrap this reading around. So this is the main idea, the basic energy. The Ace of Cups is the flow of emotion. And there is no better way for us to see a new love. I can't wait to clarify that one. So the Ace of Cups is the main idea. That's the main idea of what is heading your direction. So that's new love. That is, it's again the flow of emotion more than anything else, but there's a newness to it. So let's see about this this energetic backdrop. That's what I like to call this. This is that kind of that setting, that overarching energy, the feelings that you'll. Oh, okay. Here we've got two cards that wanted to come out. So a lot of times when I have a bunch of cards to come out, I just take the one on top. For those of you that are new to watching my readings. But every once in a while, I'll feel guided to take more than one. And the way these popped out, they wanted to come out together. And so the energetic backdrop is a 9 of Wands and a 7 of Swords that's in reverse. And so the 7 of Swords in reverse has a lot to do with... it's like it culminates in gaining your own self-trust. And so this is about you. This is your energy in this energetic backdrop, but it's kind of a complex thing. So you've been at something for a long time. There's been some healing that you've been working on, it feels like, for a long time. And it's almost like this is that I'm still standing kind of card. It's the wounded warrior. You've been at this battle for a long time, but you're still there. But there's been also a sense of having accomplished a lot of self-trust here, which of course would open you up and make you much more ready for the new flow of emotion. So that looks pretty fantastic. But let's see here. Let's learn more. What is sticking out the most about this new love? What is sticking out the most about what's coming your direction? This one will be... so this is the Chariot card. Just taking that top one. And so again, this will be the thing that's it's impacting it, but it's something that stands out a lot and really kind of impacts the overall situation. So there is sort of this lack of motivation on I want to say it's your part, but it may not be. But it feels like a lack of motivation. And when I say a lack of motivation, it's really just, this has got you tired. Whatever this is that you've been at for a long time has you tired. You may be in a place where you need to conserve energy. And this is potentially what we're looking at here. But in any case, this is not you driving forward. This is almost a new love coming your direction. So, what else does Spirit want you to know about what's coming? Because, I mean, I'm going to clarify these here in a minute, but I'm eager to see. Um, Once again, we're given two cards. So, it'll be these two, the Two of Cups and the Five of Wands. Okay, so this Two of Cups um, is about partnership. It's about a partnership, but it's also it's very loving. It's a partnership that brings strength. The Five of Wands is a struggle. So you've got a couple of options that could be there, and one of them feels stronger to me than the other. So that doesn't mean that across this collective you wouldn't have people who chose pile one that wouldn't be either or both. So you in the Five of Wands, I definitely feel that struggle. So maybe here's a partnership, but there's a lot of struggle within that partnership. The other thing that I'm getting that feels like it may be a little bit stronger is that there's a lot of potential within this partnership, and that if you are able to take this struggle energy from the Five of Wands and kind of align all of those efforts, it could be that you're not just a strong partnership, but you're actually very strong at doing things together, and so that ends up being a strong manifestation energy. Just something to think about there. So that is the something else that we needed to know about what's coming. Let's see about hidden energies here. And so this is going to be what can you not see from where you're standing? So from your vantage point, things look a certain way. But what will you not be able to see from your vantage point? So this is just something else to take into consideration for you. And we have the Four of Wands in the reverse. So there will be a little bit of a lack of stability. As things are changing, be prepared. There's likely to be a little bit of a lack of stability, so you can work through that, but it's just something that you need to know about. And we'll learn a little bit more about what that is when we clarify. And let's see here, what is kind of that. What I call this one is it's like what's likely to happen, but it's more here's the energy to which you're going to add your free will, because we can't predict people's free will. And here we go again with the two cards. That's very unusual. If you've been watching this channel, you'll know that it's happens every once in a while that I get two cards that I want to utilize, but not very often. So we've got the Eight of Cups and the Devil in the reverse, and so this is kind of the energy to which you're going to add your free will. So this reminds me very much of these cards here, this energetic backdrop where you're kind of the wounded warrior that's still standing, but you've built this incredible self trust within yourself. Well, this incredible self trust that you've built within yourself has allowed you to turn this devil card upside down, because something that was impacting you and controlling you before is no longer. You are now free to go toward your dreams and get away from whatever you're in and go toward your dreams. That is that's really powerful energy to add. It's like a clean slate almost, and a boost. So I'd be curious to understand kind of what's happening with this, because it looks like there may be a little bit of, like I said, that lack of motivation there, but that feels like it's because you're tired. It's like it's conservation of energy. So as you're moving forward, though, you do have what appears to be a new love coming your way, and it looks like it could also be a great partnership, but that it could either be kind of a struggle between the two of you, or the two of you could have, some struggles that allow you to align your efforts and do something incredible. But it may not be the most stable thing in the world. So let's go ahead and clarify and kind of see what's happening here. I want to start with this Ace of Cups, and this is the Marchetti Tarot, really pretty deck. We're going to start with this Ace of Cups, which is, again, I cannot picture a better card coming out for what's coming your direction, who's coming your direction. That's a new love. That is amazing. And here's the thing. It's not always going to be a brand new person. It's sometimes going to be new energy with a person that you already know or have met. Is that? Yeah. Okay. So we've got the Queen of Coins. When they come out face down, if there's just one of them, I'll turn them over in the orientation that they're in and go ahead and use them. So we've got the Queen of Coins here in the reverse. That is, oh, that's too many cards to use. Let's see if anything else wants to pop out. Not this time around. So the Queen of Coins is, that's going to be a low self-worth type of experience. So let's understand a little bit more of what's happening here, because it doesn't feel like all is lost or this is necessarily a failure, because we've got a new flow of emotions. We've got someone, or okay, this is the person that's coming your direction, doesn't feel very strong about their self-worth, or is they're lacking in self-worth. Something has happened that causes this person to feel like they're not necessarily worthy of the happiness that they want to bring you and that they want to have from you. So watch for that. And I definitely got the sense this is not a lost cause. This is a situation where the two of you are almost meeting for a reason. It's like it's divinely guided. But there's also this feeling that there is a change that is not happening in the energy right now. So this could be a little bit slow. Um, that Wheel of Fortune energy is not your personal energy. So this Chariot is, you may not be feeling overly motivated right now because you're very tired from what has transpired in the past. There's been this healing that has brought you, this increased sense of self-trust, but it has tired you out. The great news is that you're now free to go toward what you really want to move toward. And you've got somebody moving toward you who, looks like they really, they're in a difficult place themselves, but they've got that universal energy that's not moving super heavily around them. So it's almost a feeling of stagnation, but they also, you're pulling them out of almost this daze, and they're feeling like I haven't really been worthy of happiness. I'm not really worthy of happiness. But yet they're coming your direction. They're feeling guided to move your direction. So that's, wow, it's interesting. Let's take a look at this Nine of Wands and the Seven of Swords that's in reverse here. And remember, this is that energetic backdrop. This is definitely you, but I almost get the sense this is this person too. I think they may have been through something as well. And it wouldn't surprise me if it correlates with what you've been through. So we've got the Moon card in reverse, just taking that top card. Let's see what else comes out, because I want to put another one over here to kind of clarify this mood that they've created here. Okay, and we have the Justice card that, oh man, in the reverse, because I'm oh manning, because this is like, it's a lot that you guys have been through. I'm now firmly convinced this isn't just you, even though it's maybe primarily you. You may have been, it's I'm not sure that what everybody's person that's coming their direction has been through is quite the same as what you've experienced. So I don't mean to say that they're going to be exactly the same, but there is a lot of similarity in that energy. So there is going to have been growth, though. That growth that turns into that self-trust is incredibly important, because when things don't go well, when there is an imbalance, that self-trust that you've been building in yourself, um, really goes a long way. It really goes a long way in saying I'm ready to take this on and do whatever I need to do with it. There have been some secrets that were coming out, or really just mysteries. It wasn't things that were being kept secret from you so much as things that simply hadn't been illuminated before. And that's what we see here. And it's, the thing is that you're almost so tired, it's difficult to soak some of that up. But let's take a look a little bit more of that. This is that sense I was seeing of not feeling overly motivated, that I think is connected to how tired um, you have been after this work that you've done. It's like fighting, 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 and then working, 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 and healing all throughout. And it's just been a lot of energy moving through you. You have the Three of Wands. You know something's heading your direction. You could probably feel it, that something's moving your direction. And what I'm seeing here is you almost have mixed feelings about it. So, yes, something could be coming your direction, but maybe if you can sense that it's not going to be without challenge, and that you aren't feeling as well rested as perhaps you'd like. I can see how you might understand that something is coming your direction and not know exactly how ready for that you are. But I get the sense that this energy is going to wake you up, and the realization, yes, that realization that um, that you are prepared for anything, and especially that energy that you're moving into down here. And this is so perfect. It's going to wake you up and rejuvenate you. So the Page of Coins is it's about learning, and it's about feeling confident and rejuvenated, but it's about learning. And so this has been a very difficult transit for you. I can really just feel how heavy. There are things outside of the soulmate situation that have been giving you grief, and it's like there's a heaviness to this energy that feels like you are just ready for some rest. But and maybe not necessarily motivated to jump in and do new things, but you do have new things coming your direction, and they are going to wake you up and you are going to feel rejuvenated. So there's at least that. That's something that's very positive. Let's take a look into this Two of Cups and this Five of Wands. So the Two of Cups is that really strong partnership. It's got an incredibly strong sense to it. And they've got that, you see the two cups that are exactly the same as the Ace of Cups, and that's that flow of emotion that they're bringing. So here's the Five of Coins. That's representing a change on the material side. So as you're partnering with somebody, there's going to be likeliness or likelihood of change on the material side. That's not necessarily a bad thing. And we've also got the Queen of Swords here. So the Queen of Swords in this context is really kind of interesting. It's almost like advice about how you guys need to handle this situation. So I'm going to hold these up together so you can see them. You've got this incredible partnership, and it's got the potential to either be really difficult and struggle full of struggles, or it's got you could potentially, I want to say, straighten up and fly right, but really it's aligning those efforts to go in the same direction so that you guys would be quite powerful together. There is, you know, it's there's a danger that the two of you, as you're seeing the change in your material world, that you will not necessarily have equal give and take. So you have the option. You have to build this. Okay. So it's as you're deciding how you want to handle this struggle situation, then you look at this. This is actually a Six of Coins, but as you look at this, this is where if you aren't able to build a relationship the way that you want to build the relationship, it could get out of balance on you and become very difficult. There is also going to be this Queen of Swords is this is a very logical sense that comes from you after what you've been through and kind of all of what you as you're rejuvenating and everything. It's not like you just miraculously forget about everything that's happened. There's still that sense there that you've learned something. We see that you've learned and that you are learning. But this is like the what happens from that learning. It's the culmination from it. And I want to make sure these are all on camera as much as possible. Um, but they don't all necessarily want to fit there. So there we go. All right. So this is a little bit complicated though, because it's almost like I said, it's almost like advice for how to come together. Because yes, this partnership is incredible. Yes, this partnership is strong. We also know that this person is coming in with feeling like the energy around them has been a little bit stagnant, feeling like they are not quite worthy of the happiness that they bring you and that you would want to bring. So you have to engineer this relationship and just kind of make sure that it makes sense for both of you and that you're able to build what you want to come out of it so that it can be an effort where you put all of your efforts aligned and you're able to do more, as opposed to working against each other and using all your energies that way. And part of what you're going to want to focus on is that equal give and take as things are changing in your 3D world. So let's take a look at this Four of Wands, because one of the things that, as you know, that I noticed here, there's a lot of potential for a lack of balance. And we see that it's almost being predicted that there would be a lack of balance. So but this is also in the hidden energy. So let's learn a little bit more about this. Maybe it is not immediately evident where all of the lack of balance lies, and this is something that could potentially take you by surprise. So let's see here. Okay, so we have the Lovers in reverse. That is a situation where you might not have as much of a choice about something as, and it's a choice in this love, this flow of emotion, but you might not have as much of a choice in the situation as you want. We've been seeing that in some of the readings too, where we had one where a choice was not really a choice. Looked like it was, but it really, as you looked at it more closely, was not. It was something that doesn't work that way. Okay, and this is interesting. So, and we want this one too. Okay, feels like there's a lot of work that you have the potential to do here to make this work out for yourselves. So we see that down here where you have the choice to either have a lot of struggles or to be able to align your efforts together. We see here also that you're going to be fighting some sort of imbalance or some sort of instability that the flow of emotion surrounding this is pretty darn strong. So it feels like it's difficult to move away from it, but there's something about it where there's no choice, and yet this is part of the lesson. Um, Man, I think this is probably something that we're going to have to look at as we go into the extended. And so, if you guys have not seen an extended before, if you've not ever had the opportunity to treat yourself to that, I did one. I did a thank you video a couple days ago where I did the extended right there on the screen. Like I didn't take a break between the videos. I just went ahead and did it all there on the screen. So if for folks that have never seen an extended, now you have the chance to see one. But one of the questions that I think we're going to have to ask is around this, because this is like a lesson that is active and it is hot now. Because there's this sense of instability here, and there's a choice that you're not able to, it's not really an option. Something's not really an option. And yet, this love that wants to flow kind of can't be stopped. So you're left in this place now where you're no longer under the thumb of what had been controlling you before. You're now free to kind of move into, go toward whatever you need to go toward. But tell us a little bit more about that, because it feels like, again, you're totally free, but you may not feel like it. And that's part of the lesson that wants to come out here. There is there's a very active lesson happening, coming your direction during this time that we're looking at. So we're looking at, kind of what is coming your direction. All right, we're getting both of these. So we've got the Eight of Wands in reverse and the World in reverse. This is a complex sort of energy. So I'm going to break this down a little bit. So we know that we've got the Eight of Cups and the Death card, or I'm sorry, the Devil card in reverse. That is you having thrown off the shackles of something that was holding you down. We see that that was very challenging up here. You have some hard won self-trust that has come from this. And so while you're still moving through the cycle of lessons, you're actually looking pretty tired right now, but you're going to get rejuvenated by this new love that's coming to you. But it's not a simple new love. So you've got this Ace of Cups, this new love that's coming your direction, but it's replete with stagnation and somebody who doesn't feel like they truly deserve that love. Yet you also have the potential to put things together and be incredible if you engineer it properly. But you're going to be in the midst of some lessons. So your next, I guess, experience is to find yourself in a place where you are able to move toward your dreams. You're no longer under the thumb of what it is that you were trying to move toward, but you may not have a lot of, again, with this stagnation energy up here, these almost feel the same to me in this reading. This is the Eight of Wands in reverse. It's not a lot of fast moving energy. Things are not moving quickly. So that may be part of what the challenge is here, because you're able to move forward, but but you're not necessarily moving forward. And why is that? Because something is not yet over. There's a cycle over here that's not yet over. You're going to have to revisit. So that feels kind of intense. And, it's what's coming your direction, but it's not necessarily a simple situation. So you've got new love coming for you, but it could require a lot of effort on your part to really align. I mean, it always does, but this could be especially challenging with what you two are both coming off of over here. And there might be a little bit of, defense mechanisms. I see that especially coming off of this card. This is when your trust that you have in yourself allows you to be prepared to get into this relationship because you've figured out how to handle things when they don't necessarily go your way. And so has your person to a certain extent, but you're going to be put into a situation to have to figure out how to truly be okay with something that's very difficult while still allowing the emotion to flow and rising above the situation, it feels like. But you're, again, like I said, the next thing that's going to happen is that sense of I can now move toward what I want to. I'm no longer under the thumb of what I was under the thumb of, but something's not over and the energy's not necessarily swirling quickly for me. So as we go into the extended, like I said, I really want to take a look at this lesson that's happening for you kind of actively now. I also want to understand this person a little bit more. Let's take a look at your person. Let's take a look at your lesson, and then we'll go from there, but we'll probably take a look at what bridges you from where you are right now to the place that you would like to be. So we'll give that a try. Take a look at that in the extended. I would just say thank you so much for being with me for pile one. If it did resonate, please do like and share and subscribe. And if I see you in the extended reading, that'll be fantastic. If not, then I will see you in another reading. And here we are with pile two. So that's the pile that has the fluorite pointer. This one is cool. I'm going to be reading for you with the Mystic Mondays deck. This is the Mystic Mondays Tarot, and then I'm going to clarify with the Constellation Tarot. And so, again, we're looking at who is coming your direction and, of course, what energy is coming your direction. So we're going to start by looking at just the main idea. So the reading is going to be wrapped around this idea. So what is going on here, kind of the main idea of the reading and what is coming your direction. Oh, we had one almost turn over. Oh, we got one. So we've got the Knight of Pentacles. All right. So the Knight of Pentacles is a slow and steady, forward-moving sort of energy. Of all the knights in the tarot, this is the slowest one, but this is the one that also definitely gets there. So you've got this slow and steady energy that's kind of moving your direction. And we will, of course, clarify and look a little bit more into that. But first, let's go ahead and get the rest of the picture out onto the table. So we're going to look at this energetic backdrop. That's what I like to call this one. This is going to be essentially that energetic weather, the setting, the overarching energy for the reading. I've got some that are coming out, but they're not the right one. And now I just dropped one on the floor. But it fell face down. So I have rules about how the cards fall and which ones I take. So if you've been watching me, then you'll already have been exposed to some of these rules. So we have the energetic backdrop of the world in reverse. And this is really about something not being over. So the world in the upright is the end of a cycle. We've got the cycle is the fool's journey. Starts off with the fool, ends with the world. And when we see the world in reverse like this, it's really, that cycle is not ended. There's something about this that that has not yet ended. So we'll take a look at that. That's the energetic backdrop for this situation where something is moving in a very slow and steady way. So now let's take a look at what is sticking out the most about what's coming your direction. And we've got the King of Swords. So the King of Swords is a very logical king. We'll find out a little bit more about this when we clarify, but this is the thing that sticks out the most, is that this is a person that I get like excellent strategist, but what I'm also hearing is here's a person that can really, and this is required in strategy, to take a look at the big picture and to be able to step back and see the whole thing and say, all right, based on this big picture, I'm going to make a different decision than I might have made when I was looking at just part of it, and just kind of the small picture. So this is something about this person is that they're really able to take that logical step back and take a look at what's happening in an overall situation. I would keep that in mind. What else do we need to know here about what's coming for you? And so this could be, oh, we have a 10 of cups. All right, so just taking that top card, if I have multiples that come out, unless I feel guided to take more than one, I just take the top card. So we've got the 10 of cups, and this is just something else that you are to know about what is coming your direction. So the 10 of cups is a too good to be true sort of feeling, or to be more accurate in this situation, it is not necessarily going to be that. It is you are going to wonder if this is too good to be true. Take a close look. Look deeply into the situation. You are invited to do so. You're being told right now that that is something you need to know about what's coming, is it's going to make you ask that question. So let's take a look here in the hidden energies, and I feel like I'm kind of running through here really fast because I can't wait to get into clarify and just understand what's behind this, because we have this picture that emerges, but then we also, when we get in and clarify, it gets so much more color and depth. So the question I'm asking here is really around hidden energies, and it's around what do you not see from your perspective and where you're standing. And we have the Fool in reverse. Okay, that'll be a good one to get a little bit more detail on. We mentioned the Fool's journey begins with the Fool and ends with the world. We have both of them here in reverse. This is, and they're related. So we've got a situation that hasn't ended, and part of what it's causing, like there's this hidden energy that you're seeing or you're feeling here, of not wanting to jump into something new because of what has occurred maybe in the past. But that may be something that's trying to hold you back. We'll get a little bit more clarity to understand exactly what that is. And so now let's look at, I like to call this the where are we headed kind of card, but really what it is what is the energy to which you're going to add your free will? The energy to which you'll add your free will, because we can't predict your free will. That's you. That's all you. However, we can absolutely say, here's the direction that it looks like things are flowing. And we've got the Wheel of Fortune. So that's kind of a sky's the limit sort of experience and feeling there. The Wheel of Fortune definitely changes things and moves things on to the next step, but it's like it's energy that is acting upon you. So whereas the Chariot is energy that comes from within, Wheel of Fortune is more that energy that's acting upon you, and that's energy that's coming from the universe. So we'll take a closer look at that, because right now looks like we've got kind of an interesting situation. So something definitely isn't over. We have something that is moving very slowly but surely, may look a little too good to be true. Go ahead and investigate that. You're being encouraged to investigate it. It would feel odd if you didn't. There is a person. This is very definitively a person heading your direction who is really great at looking at the big picture and just sort of understanding what they're looking at. And then the Fool card tells you, hold on, in your background, you're going to have some things that are likely to maybe toss up a defense mechanism or two that is related to the situation that isn't over yet over here. So let's go ahead and start to clarify. I've got the Constellation Tarot, and I want to start here with the Knight of Pentacles. So clarifying, we've got some that turned over here. We're just going to take this top one. We've got the Jupiter card. So the Jupiter card is like the Emperor. That's the same card as the Emperor in the Constellation Tarot. And then we also have the Three of Swords in reverse. So we've got a situation that's moving incredibly slowly for you, but it's really positive. So it's slow because it needs to be slow. There is a sense of something is developing in you that allows you to balance out. So everybody has both the masculine and the feminine in them. there is something here that wasn't quite balanced, and there is something coming out on the masculine side that is going to help with that. I also see that as you're moving through this slow and steady process, you have a sense of heartbreak that falls away. So there was something that, perhaps was upsetting you, bothering you, had created some heartbreak in you. And, I feel like this card wants to come over here, like it's related to the situation that's not yet over, but it looks like you're going to start seeing some relief from that. But again, it's a very slow and steady, like every day seems very similar to the day previous as far as how you're coming out of the heartbreak. But if you do take that step back and look at the big picture, you're going to notice that you've actually made a fair amount of progress. So let's take a look here at the world and get a couple of clarifiers for that one. And there we've got both of them. So we have the King of Swords again. So that's the same as this card, and the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is this really sort of youthful, fiery, curious, passionate energy. It's confident. But again, incredibly youthful. So there is something about it's something that you don't know, or something that hasn't made itself evident to you yet about this situation that's not yet over. This King of Swords, though, wow, may either be relevant to the situation that's not yet over, or is going to help you discern as you're moving through the situation, where something is not yet over. But I almost get the feeling that it's that same King of Swords. So this King of Swords, this person who is a great strategist, who's great at looking at the big picture, may be somebody that you already know. For a few of you, that is definitely going to be true. And let's dig a little bit more into that, because the King of Swords, any of the court cards, are not definitively a person when they come up in my reading. Sometimes, a lot of times they are, but not always. Sometimes it's just like the Emperor card, the Jupiter card here, may or may not be a person. Sometimes that is, sometimes it's not. Page of Wands is not a person in this context. It's really the qualities of that person. But here, yeah, that King of Swords is definitively a person. So we've got the Seven of Pentacles. So that's a feeling of investment, willingness to invest in one another. And that's what's being explored here. And did we just get the... Oh, yes, Empress. So this is the Venus card, and in this deck, that's the Empress. So let's take a look at these together. So this could be a pretty bizarre feeling if this is somebody that you already know, because it's like their ability to think things through, be logical, and make good decisions is really showing up here. Like lots of people have those capabilities, but it's really showing up here. Like it came out when we saw what is sticking out the most about what's coming. And it's going to be that ability to look at the big picture, which kind of makes me wonder if it is that person that's going to be looking at helping you look at your picture and determining, okay, this thing that's not yet over, what's the best way to interpret that and to move through it? Because if it's something that's already happening with this person, perhaps the two of you are then determining, well, what does not quite over really mean? Then I see you coming out of heartbreak here. But that feels like it's something that has to happen gradually. And there is this investment. The Seven of Pentacles is a card of investment. It's an investment in one another. It feels like the relationship itself may also have that slow and steady quality to it, especially if it's something that's been going on for a little while. You can feel like it's not over, and then they are back with you, or this could be a couple that's in separation. The way that it's looking here, what's coming your way could actually be somebody that you're in separation with. And I understand that's not going to be true for everybody, but the signal or the feeling is strong enough that I feel like I need to say it. So it's going to be, for some of you, a person that's coming back, and is now better at this thing they were maybe already good at. But they're also, this investment piece is mutual, and that's a big deal, because here I see you not necessarily wanting to invest, not wanting to jump into something new. Would suggest that you might not be ready to invest. Here I see that you may, again, not be ready to jump into it. That's that feminine energy that is not yet fully balanced, and so you've got masculine energy, you've got feminine energy. They are not completely balanced. We saw here that they are coming into balance slowly but surely, but we see here this person, I think, almost impacts that ability to have that balance. So it's like you've got to work through your ability to have that balance even while this person is here. So that may seem like something that's too good to be true. It's hard to say if that's what it is or if it's something else. But over here, you've definitely got that feeling of something too good to be true. It's almost like, and I know I've said this one before. I think I've said it on YouTube. It's hard to tell, which things I've said on YouTube and which ones I've said to people in personal readings. But I definitely get that sense of like, not that it is a social media post, but it's that feeling of a social media post and sort of that guarded nature around it and that feeling that it might be too good to be true, but like, it's social media also. So, to take it with a grain of salt. And I feel like that's what you do as you see something here. Something's going to seem a little too good to be true, and you're going to want to dig into it. And you're encouraged to do so. So we've got a couple of cards here. We've got the Libra card, which is like the Justice card. And then I think it was down here. We've got the Ten of Pentacles. Whew, Ten of Pentacles. That's pretty fabulous. When you look into the Ten of Cups and determine that it's actually a Ten of Pentacles, it's like an upgrade. So the Ten of Cups is so great that it is, feels like it's too good to be true, but the Ten of Pentacles is actually that awesome thing. So it's that I often talk about it in context of a household. Like this is the happy household where everybody has, they're at peace, they're harmonious together, they have everything that they need, all of the resources are taken care of. And here we've got things just being right. This is an in balance sort of card. Things are in balance. And so it does seem like it's really too good to be true. And this is why it's going to seem so remarkably balanced and like it would create this great household for you. So you are absolutely encouraged to make sure that this is really what you think it is, because it's going to look pretty fantastic. But the thing is that I'm getting under it is at least as good as you think it is. Man, it's related to this. So this is really interesting, but everything happens very slowly. Let's take a look at this Fool card. This is that thing it's almost like it's what's crossing you. It's hidden energy, but it is energy that you wouldn't necessarily see from where you're standing. We see that it appears to be crossing you because of the nature of it. And essentially it's just, I might be a little bit afraid to move forward because I've just had this situation, potentially even with you, that doesn't feel like it's over yet. There's been some heartbreak here. I've been striving to get myself into balance between my feminine and my masculine, and maybe I don't feel confident about jumping out there just yet into this situation. And so we have Cetus, which is like the devil in this deck. So something's got control over you, and it feels like, so sometimes that control comes in the form of an addiction or a controlling person. This feels like more of controlling thoughts. Might be obsession, doesn't have to be. You could make that call, but it's definitely intrusive and constant thoughts, or something that is controlling you, that is a thought sort of thing. Could just be a fear, honestly. And then here we have the Page of Pentacles. So this is what you've been learning about. You've been doing all of this learning, especially that we see kind of showing up over here. But this balance, I can't help but notice this balance. And you being able to see this and say, hold on, I'm not sure, that may be too good to be true, just shows how much, because this is something that you've seen before. And so as you, and maybe the exact same person. So these could be the same person, or they could be people that have enough of a resemblance that you can't help but notice, even if it's just the way that they act and they don't even look the same, they could be very different. But there is still this sense of you being willing to learn. This is an openness to learning. And so this is a hidden energy, but it's not necessarily something that's going to rule you forever. So what you're going to notice, and you're hearing about it here, but hearing about it and being able to jump in and do something about it are two very different things. But you can now be looking for, what is the holdup? What is the hang up in me that makes me feel like maybe there are these intrusive thoughts, maybe an obsession, something that potentially a fear that is keeping me from wanting to jump back in and be able to be vulnerable. Because that's essentially what it's doing. And then you have this willingness in yourself to learn, like it's this fresh, beautiful energy that you have. So be looking for it, because this is a happy ending right here. It looks like it's not, because it's got, the fool in reverse, it's got the devil, it's got, but it's actually not that bad. It's You're going to be aware of this now, because we were looking for hidden energy so that you would be able to figure out how you want to deal with it. And so this is essentially when you find this fear, and you find that this fear is coming from these fearful thoughts, engage that ability that you have to learn, and it's going to help you kind of bring that up to the surface so that you can do the same thing to it that you've been doing here and establishing that balance. And so that's kind of just an extra message for you there, and from the hidden energies. Let's take a look at this Wheel of Fortune, because this is what's coming. We're asking the question, what's coming your way? And this is almost like the answer to it. I mean, they're all the answer, but this one is, I'm asking directly, to what would you be adding your free will? What is coming your way? And we get the Wheel of Fortune. So things are going to be changing. The winds of change are going to be blowing. You have Cassiopeia, which this is the same as the Judgment card. Okay, it's 20 in the tarot, so it comes right before the world. And if you don't pass judgment, the story can't end. The cycle can't complete, I guess. So even if you've got like a story with this person, the fact that the cycle completes doesn't mean that the story is over between the two of you. It could be the cycle that you keep perpetuating is over between the two of you. So we also have a Three of Pentacles, which suggests people working well together, or efforts together being harmonious, we can say, because it won't always be people working together, but it will mostly be people working together. So we have the energy that you're going to be putting your free will into. What you'll be meeting is this Wheel of Fortune, where there's just a lot of amazing possibilities for shifting, because when the energy is changing, then the possibilities for what could happen for you are basically much broader. And so you've also got this judgment sense here. So this is this is showing me how much you've grown, because I think we looked here, we saw earlier that there was maybe you questioning, I wonder where I am on this path, or maybe I didn't know that I thought maybe I was a little bit farther along. And when you feel like this, when you feel this part, you're definitely potentially going to have that feeling that I really felt like I should have been past this sort of thing. But as you start looking more deeply into it and say, hey, wait a second, I knew to assess this situation that seemed like it was too good to be true. I knew to ask this question. You'll realize, hold on, maybe I am actually passing judgment. Maybe I am actually a little bit farther along, a little bit more developed than I realized, because this development is very clear to me over here. But then we see Venus come out as the Empress to just kind of point out, hey, there's still some work to do. And I think we know that. We know here where some of that work is going to be. We also know that you're going to have to confront, is this real? Looks, again, I don't want to give you answers, but it looks like, I mean, I do, but I don't. I don't want to put words in the universe's mouth, but I mean, it does look like things do measure up. And this person does, everything is valid and it is worth investing, but absolutely get in there, make your own choices, see if you're seeing things that way too, because sometimes after this much development, you might be the person that's like, yeah, I picked pile two and this is accurate, but I'm not sure if I'm going to want this when this person comes back around, if it's the person I'm thinking of, and you get to evaluate it. You get to determine and say, I'm looking at the real situation here. I'm not doing this out of fear, because I know this fear could potentially be driving some of these actions. And that's gonna pass judgment. That's your own actions passing judgment in your own eyes. And this is the energy that comes from that, which is essentially cooperation. So I'm curious to understand. We're going to go to the extended. I want to look into a little bit more about your person. So in some cases, they are either a person you have dealt with before, or they are somebody has a lot of the same characteristics, perhaps, of somebody that you've dealt with before. But we're going to look into them a little bit more deeply, because it looks like if it's the same person, there's been a lot of change. So let's see kind of what's happening there. And then I also want to understand a little bit more about kind of this, what is coming your direction, or what is, this is all what's coming your direction. But this part in particular is fascinating, because it looks like this world is your oyster sort of experience. And I'm curious to understand, like, is there more to it, or you're passing judgment with yourself? There's all this possibility, like, what is, if this is most likely to happen because of the way the energy is going, then what does that most likely lead to? And then we'll also take a look at the issues that you might meet along the way. So the bridge question that I usually like to ask. And so if you guys have never seen an extended reading, I just did a thank you reading a couple of days ago, where I tacked the extended right onto the original that I was doing on YouTube. So I just kind of cleared the cards away and did an extended. And so if you've never seen one and you want to know what it's like, that's a good one to jump in and just decide, is this even something I want? But that's what we're going to do in this extended. We're going to look a little bit more at what is happening. Like, who is this person? Tell me more about this person, what they're like. And then what is this energy that's kind of, this is a fabulous place that it looks like you're going to be presented with, but like, what does that mean? Tell us a little bit more about that. And also, I suspect we'll see this show up because I want to understand what is going to bridge you. What's the energy required to bridge you from where you are today to the place where that you'd want to be going. So that's what we'll do. If this has been helpful for you, if this has resonated with you, please do like and share and subscribe so that we can stick together. I will see you over in the extended if you decide to go that way. Otherwise, I will see you in another reading. And here we are with pile 3. So if you picked pile 3, that's the one with the clear quartz. I am going to be reading for you with the Healing Light Tarot, and then I'm going to clarify with the Aquarian Tarot. So we'll go ahead and get started. And again, we're looking at who's coming your direction, or kind of maybe what energy is coming your direction. So we're looking at both of those things. And so the first card that we're looking for is kind of that main idea. What is the reading wrapped around? So that main idea for this reading and for you around what is coming your direction. We have the Ace of Swords. So I like to just take the top card off. For those of you who are new here, I like to just take the top card off. I have rules about the way I do my cards, and I usually explain them because otherwise I think they might look strange. So for the Ace of Swords, this is really, this is a card of truth. We'll see a little bit more about it when we clarify, but this is the main idea. So the main piece of your reading is around the truth, new truth coming out. And so now let's take a look at that energetic backdrop. That's what I like to call this one. So it's sort of, what is the weather for your reading, or the setting, the overarching energy of it. We had a bunch of them fall, but only one of them turned over, and it is the Seven of Pentacles. So this is a card of, I like to call it a card of investment, but it's really, you know, it's a card of reaping what you sow, and this is the sowing part. Okay, so this is the card of that investment. And that's the energetic backdrop, is maybe a willingness. That's kind of what I feel, a willingness to invest, a new truth and a willingness to invest. So I've only got 2 cards out here. We haven't clarified anything yet, but it feels like the sun is coming out. It feels like that's kind of the energy that is coming your direction. So let's see also what is sticking out the most about what's coming. Okay, so is the single card? I'll take it. It's the Hierophant. Okay, so this is you moving in the right direction. The Hierophant can mean a lot of things. It can be marriage. It can be, and it could actually, oops, flipped it out of my own hand. So it could actually be about marriage. But in this case, it feels like it's more about spiritual teaching, spiritual direction, spiritual guidance. And this is, with it coming in the upright like this, it's telling me that you are moving in a good direction spiritually. That's what's coming your way. So we'll learn a little bit more about it when we clarify, but there's good spiritual direction. There's this willingness to invest, which speaks of the sun coming out, but it also speaks of a healing in you. And then we see this new truth over here. So what else does Spirit want you to know about what's coming your way? Maybe tell us about who's coming your way. Okay, we have the Page of Pentacles. So we've got a lesson that hasn't yet been learned. And this one, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes it's just the realization. That's what we just had in one of the other readings is, and I think it was the extended from one of the other readings, but it was that realization that, okay, so there's a lesson that hasn't been learned, but it's just a pointer to let you know that there is something else to be learned. So we'll take a closer look at that when we clarify and see what it is. And then let's go ahead and look at your hidden energies. So this is, what can you not necessarily see from where you're standing? Okay, we're taking it. That is the 10 of Cups. So you don't necessarily see this from where you're standing. But this is like that halcyon, too good to be true almost sort of energy. So there is something really fabulous. It's like the sun's coming out, but you're not able to see it just yet. That's almost the sense that I get here. And up here, we just saw the sun coming out. We know that this is going to be a little bit complicated by a lesson that you still have to learn, but you're moving in the right direction. So I guess let's look at this is kind of when I've been restructuring how I ask this question to make it more appropriate with the way that I'm really asking the question, because the universe is hearing the way I'm really asking the question. And so I call it what's most likely to happen here, but what it really is what is it that you will be adding your free will to? Because we can't really define, I can't tell you what somebody's going to do with free will, but I can tell you the direction the energies are generally going. And this is kind of that direction that the energies are generally going. So we've got the Knight of Wands. That is a passionate forward action. So if this is what's most likely to happen, a passionate forward action, we really got to get some clarifiers on some of these things, because I am seeing beautiful things here. I'm seeing beauty around the corner, beauty coming out to where you can see it, new truth, lesson that hasn't been learned. We have to learn a little bit more about that. Again, not necessarily a bad thing. And definitely this feeling of you moving in the direction that you should be. So that is actually super exciting. So now let's clarify. I've got the Aquarian Tarot here. I'm going to start with this Ace of Swords. So we'll clarify to understand, we get this initial sort of feeling. I'm just trying to kind of grab the energy that's up on the surface for me to grab when I get these cards. And then we dig in a little bit more and kind of go a layer deeper here when we get the clarifier. So we've got the Four of Pentacles. And then if this is single, I'll take it. Six of Pentacles. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. We've got the Ace of Swords clarified by the Four of Pentacles in the reverse and the Six of Pentacles in the upright. So this truth that you're realizing is about something that's happened in the past. So you've got this Six of Pentacles where this is about that equal give and take. So there has been something in the past where you have new realizations about the levels of give and take. So maybe you already knew whether or not they were totally balanced, but you have some new realizations now about exactly what that means for you. And one of the things that it means for you. So the Four of Pentacles in the upright is a card of really holding on. Sometimes it's just holding on for the sake of holding on, and here we have the opposite of that. We have letting go. And this truth is, it's around the Six of Pentacles, this feeling of equal or not equal give and take. Like there's a truth that you recognize or realize around give and take, but that causes you to not feel like you need to remain connected to something, or you can go ahead and let go now, is what it feels like to me after you learn this truth. And it, again, has something to do with that Six of Pentacles. So what's coming your direction is this ability to let go of something that's been kind of bothering you in the past. So that is super exciting, because honestly, until you're able to let go, new energy can't come in. It doesn't have any real, place to go if you're engaged completely in something that's happening over here. Let's take a look at this Seven of Pentacles, though, and understand this investment that you're talking about and this investment that you're making. And let's see, we've got the Hierophant in reverse. Okay, and let's see what else comes out for that, because I think I know what's happening with that Hierophant in reverse, and the Seven of Rods in the upright. So yeah, this is that energetic backdrop. And so there is a history of, we've got this Hierophant, meaning that the spiritual guidance has you directing yourself in the right way or going in the right direction. Here, there's a history of not having that. And so it's either not having the direction, not being provided with the direction, or possibly just not going the way that that you felt like you needed to go. For whatever reason, you weren't. So you've got this sense of investment now, which is very positive and very much digging in. And it's partially relevant because of this time in the past where things, maybe weren't headed in the right direction. But there's a great confidence about it now. So this Seven of Rods is that sense of confidence. It's like being in a battle where a lot of things are coming at you, but you have the high ground and you're ready for this. And so that's this situation where maybe things weren't headed in the right direction for a while has actually helped to arm you and make you more confident about this situation, so that you can so that you can be prepared to invest in. Again, this whole thing here feels like the sun is coming out. You know something now that you didn't know before, or at least that's what's coming for you. This sense of, oh, hold on, I've got this new perspective. I know something now that maybe I did not have in the past. So let's take a look at this Hierophant. I'm interested to see about this one because this is you heading in the right direction. And we clarify here, and there may be a couple of questions that we leave on the table. Usually with these pick a card readings, that is the case. And so we end up leaving some questions on the table. And that's where we go into the extended reading to look more deeply into those questions. So it ends up being like multiple levels of energy, because you've got the kind of the surface here, then you've got that next dive, but it's going to bring up some additional questions. So we'll dig a little bit deeper into it. And if you have never seen an extended reading before, there is one that I put out attached to my thank you video a couple of days ago. So you can see it's a soulmate reading, and it's just kind of a general soulmate reading, but you can kind of see, here's the picture, we develop our questions, and then I clear the cards and do the extended right there as part of the same video. So if you've never seen an extended before, absolutely go treat yourself, because that one turned out to be a pretty good reading too. And it tells you kind of what the extendeds look like. But so clarifying this Hierophant, we've got the Three of Pentacles. That's excellent. We're actually going to take a couple extra cards. So one extra card, the Knight of Rods, which is like the Knight of Wands. And I did see another one. And then we also have the Three of Swords. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let me pull these all out so we can take a look at them for you. So we've got this Hierophant, which is you energetically and spiritually heading in the right direction. This Three of Pentacles, which is like you have cooperation here. So this is people around you cooperating. It is the situation cooperating. It's more people, though. It's things that have free will that are cooperating to not, it's not necessarily that they're pushing you this way, but they're not slowing you down or getting in the way. The Knight of Rods is in the reverse, is really kind of giving us this sense of, it's almost restraint. So down here we have the Knight of Wands, which is that same energy. The Knight of Wands is showing, hey, we're going to do a passionate forward action. This Knight of Rods is telling us, but there are some times when you don't. There are some times when maybe historically you have, but it's not what you're going to do in the future. Yields some difficulty. And you're still maybe even experiencing some of that difficulty and still working your way through it. What I see with the Three of Swords here, though, is very much what I was just saying, where you do have some difficulty that you're still working through. But what's special about this is that I see you actively continuing to work through it. So going spiritually in the right direction, you've got some support or some cooperation here from people. That's from at least one person there. So you have somebody in your life that is very supportive of this. You are figuring out that there are situations where maybe you would have gone forward passionately in the past, but you're not going to now because they've created some issues for you. And I'm looking at this situation over here. But there's been some heartbreak as a result of it, and you're not running away from that heartbreak. That's one of the things that I really see strongly here. You're not running away from it. You are kind of leaning in to get the lesson from it. And it's related very much to this not making the passionate forward action when the time is not appropriate. Like you have learned some discernment in here as this truth has come out and you've made some realizations, you've let some things go. I'm curious to know who this is that's here to support you, but it's a beautiful thing regardless. Let's take a look at this Page of Pentacles. So the Page of Pentacles is that I still have some lessons to learn. And as a person, you're basically always going to have lessons to learn. But it's interesting because it's coming out as here's the other thing that you kind of need to realize about this. So there's still going to be work to do and distance to go, but it's not necessarily going to be coming at you. So there's been this feeling of some of these energies of these lessons have been very forcefully, they come at you and like they have this weight associated with them. They're very difficult. This is not like that. So you've got something that you need to learn here. And it's about emotional independence is the way I want to say this. So the Nine of Pentacles, one of the things about it is emotional independence. It is sometimes thought of as the single person, but honestly, it's not that the person is single in this case. It's the fact that they are capable of operating as a single person. They do not have to be dependent upon anyone else for any emotional needs, really. They're capable within their own self. And so it's but it's not that sense of pushing everybody away. It's just, hey, I'm quite capable in myself. I'm emotionally independent, as opposed to being emotionally codependent. So this Page of Pentacles is, it's about that. It's a lesson about that. So there is a lesson that hasn't quite been learned around emotional independence. Oh, and by the way, you're not getting a bunch of push from the universe on this one. So this is something that's almost like independent study. You kind of have to reach out there and figure out what there is to know. But you've got a situation that's coming up here that's going to help you to put this into perspective. And especially as you start moving in that spiritual direction. Let's understand what's happening with this Ten of Cups too, because this is that it's almost a too good to be true sort of feeling, but it's in the background. So we've got the Empress so far coming out to clarify, and we've got one more, the Nine of Cups, which is that sense of wish fulfillment. So the Nine of Cups is the sense of wish fulfillment. The Ten of Cups is, like I said, it's that halcyon super happiness. You always just have to kind of wonder, am I dreaming? Is this too good to be true? And that's something that when you see it, you have to take a look and you have to determine if that's truly the case. But what is happening here, it is incredibly balanced. There is something that feels like it's really fantastic and almost too good to be true. But based on the lessons that you've learned over here, you're actually quite balanced as you move toward it. So this is you being incredibly balanced. And this is that realization that these three cards together are kind of that realization that, hold on, I am getting what I want. So you're getting what you want, but you can't see it yet. The sun is coming out over here. You might even be able to register some of the coolness about that, even though not all of it is going to be pleasant necessarily. We've got the Ace of Swords where you're going to be learning this new truth. It's going to be, or you're going to be realizing. It's not something that you don't already know. It's just something that maybe it's going to click for you. So you're going to be realizing this new truth. You've got, it's around give and take, emotional give and take that allows you to let go of something. And it's like this, it's almost a leap of faith that allows you to begin investing and just be okay with, even when things don't go especially well, I'm now confident enough to go ahead and invest in myself, in a relationship, and I'm moving in the right direction spiritually. So I'm no longer backtracking and creating a situation for myself where I create pain, but then I don't necessarily fix that pain. So you're working through fixing a lot of that pain. You've got some support here as you're doing it. But it's really, this is a long path, you know. It's impressive how far you've made it on the path so far. You've got more to learn that we see over here. But by the time you get to this place where you're seeing this beautiful situation and you're able to recognize it as such, you're going to be looking back to here to say, listen, I really got some great discernment and understanding out of these situations and out of this experience. Now I can apply it here and truly be able to appreciate what's coming to me. And what's coming to you is this passionate forward action. So let's look a little bit more at this. Knight of Wands, passionate forward action, which we now know you won't be taking every one of those. However, when it's right, it's right. Holy King of Swords. Okay, so the King of Swords has been very special to me today. a couple of in a couple of readings, and it means something incredibly similar here too. So this is a King of Swords that is definitively a person. So as I was just saying in, I think it was the pile 2 reading, that's not always the case. Sometimes you get in there and the King of, or any court card is really talking about the characteristics of a person, but not a person specifically. And then sometimes you toss a court card out there and you're like, whoa, that's a person. Like, that's a person. What's special about this person, though, is their ability to lay things out and really think about the big picture. So I mentioned in the other, in the level, in the pile 2 reading, this was a person that was able to take a look at the big picture. They were a great strategist. This isn't entirely dissimilar, but this person has the ability to truly organize what they're seeing into something that makes sense as a picture. And so that is this, you've got a person coming toward you that has that capacity, but also has a lot of passion and has decided to walk away from a battle that they no longer feel is worth fighting. So, wow, that's what's happening here. So you've got somebody coming your way. This is somebody that is good at looking at a situation and taking everything into consideration. They've decided a battle is not worth fighting. They're walking away from it. But there's a passionate forward action toward you. That's amazing. And so I guess that's where you get to determine, and we'll look a little bit more closely at this, but at some point, and maybe it's here, you get to determine, is this situation for real? And then through your own development and your own experiences here, where you're now able to invest and be vulnerable because of this direction that you're going, the support that you're getting, the realization of lessons that you still have, doesn't change anything about the truth that you've already learned and that you've already seen. You're always going to have lessons that you don't quite have down yet. The one that you'll be working on here is spiritual independence, or emotional independence rather. But you're also going to be sort of, this is a test for a previous lesson, essentially. When you are presented with this thing that looks amazing and you evaluate it, you're going to recognize, hold on, this is actually happiness. This is actually a wish come true. I'm really happy about this. This is a wish fulfillment, and I am totally capable of recognizing it and appreciating it for what it is. I'm capable of really putting my best in and, investing and sowing the seeds and fighting for it, it's putting the energy into that basket, and it's because of all of the rest of these experiences that we've seen. But I am curious about a couple things. So I mentioned, we look here at the surface, then we go in a little bit deeper, but now we're going to go in and ask a couple more questions in your extended. So I want to take a closer look at this person. They seem pretty amazing, and they've definitely made some decisions, but like, who are they? Tell us a little bit more. What else would the universe want you to know about that? And you've got some pretty powerful lessons that have been happening here. Honestly, we see them all over the place. We see the universe checking your work here. And you pass. Like, this is, the sun is coming out because you pass, but what you don't recognize, this is that hidden piece. You don't recognize how much you pass or how much why you pass until you get to this place. And honestly, it's going to be a lot of, because you've been heading in the right direction and truly confronting the heartbreak, understanding that there are some things about your behavior that'll need to change, and you aren't just going to jump into things wholeheartedly without looking deeply into them, especially if they're the types of things that have created pain for you in the past. Instead of generalizing that, you're going to get specific and understand what it is that was creating those problems for you, so that when you see this situation here or this situation here, you're able to say, I do allow this to happen. I am good with this. Here is maybe a situation where I'm going to go ahead and jump in. But knowing that you've got this other question over here around the emotional independence, Let's take a little bit closer of a look at this lesson, this part of the lesson in particular, and then we're also going to do my famous bridge question where we look at where you are today and how do you get to where you want to go? Like what would that look like? So I'm going to go ahead and move over to the extended. I would thank you very much for hanging out with me while we do the reading for pile 3. If you did like this, if this was helpful for you and it resonated for you, please do like and share and subscribe, and that'll allow us to be able to stick together, and I will be happy to read for you. So I will either see you over in the extended or I will see you in a reading in the future.